where he can't remember the first time that Novak Djokovic played his first Australian Open. He was 1 year old, I believe. How has he done this so fast?
No, it's mad. I remember the first time seeing him play was at the Royal Albert Hall, and he played Jack Draper in an exhibition, and he was only 16. But Juan Carlos Ferrero was with him, and he said, you know, this guy's the real deal. And, you know, you thought he was good, but there was no way you were going to think that 6-7 years later he will have won 7 Grand Slams, and he won all 4 of them. I mean, it's incredible.
And for Novak, Jamie, does this feel like the best chance that he's going to get at 25? Or is there another tournament this year that you think perhaps he could do it? Maybe Wimbledon even?
Yeah, I mean, Wimbledon, I would have probably said would be his best chance. Like at the start of the season, if he was going to win one, I would be ring fencing that as his best opportunity. But look, I'm sure he'll be disappointed not to get over the line here, especially after, you know, his heroic effort in beating Sinner and getting so close. And he obviously knows he's not going to be around forever. His level is obviously slowly declining.
But it's just the way things fell in his way this tournament with the withdrawal and then the retirement. You just thought, oh, are the stars aligning?
Yeah. But he still had to beat Sinner. Like, I don't really care if he'd played like 20 hours tennis or 10 hours. He still had to get past Sinner, and then he had to get past Alcaraz. And like, that's going to be the ultimate challenge for so many of these players over the next probably 4 or 5 years at least, to see, you know, if they want to win a slam, if we want a new slam winner, because those guys have won like the last 15 slams now. Is how do we overcome those guys back to back? And Novak, unfortunately for him, he couldn't do it. But I think Wimbledon, he'll be there and he'll have another crack at it.
Because how many tournaments does he try to play? We're always playing a guessing game with Novak Djokovic's schedule, but given that he came into this one without a tournament under his belt, it really did take him a few matches to feel good on the court.
Yeah, I think it did. However, I think he's one of the very few, certainly in tennis, that just doesn't need those extra tournaments. Yeah, he'll play a few. It's not like he can just suddenly turn up at the French Open and be match fit. But, you know, if he plays a few events just to be competitive and have some matches under his belt, I think once you get to May, you're into Roland-Garros and Wimbledon. That is always a busy time of year. He absolutely can, you know, come through those first couple of rounds, play his way into fitness and form. And as Jamie touched upon, there are less players that play well on grass. And so I think your pool of winners is even fewer at Wimbledon. And he is absolutely in that mix. And I think he's always believed in himself. He talked about that in the speech. But I think having beaten Sinner, been in another Grand Slam final, this will have just emphasised that he still has opportunities.
He would have taken so much confidence from the win against Jannik Sinner, and especially from that first set today against Alcaraz. Does he walk into that locker room thinking, I was just outplayed by the better player on the day?
Yeah, I think he will tip his hat. You know, he's 38. He's got so much experience in this sport. He's lost in slam finals before, and so this one, yeah, he'll lick his wounds. And I think you also take into account the conditions. You know, when it has been this cold, you know, that probably affects the penetration on Djokovic's shots by, 5%. When it was warmer against Sinner, he was just getting that much more value, and you know, that had a part to play. So I don't think he can have any question marks about the outcome. He'll be disappointed, but I think in the perspective of what he's done in this fortnight, it's been unbelievable.
I think it was only the second time he'd lost a night match in Australia, and that was against Chung from Korea, which was a long time ago.
Very long time ago. No, it's been an incredible event for Novak Djokovic, an outstanding one for Carlos Alcaraz. He came into the semi-finals just playing lights-out tennis, barely dropping serve even, and then just the way that he came through that semi-final and then how he finished the match today. It's something special, so I'm sure the celebration tonight is going to be... It's going to be something.
Yeah, I mean, he's young, isn't he, again? But he's getting the hang of these celebrations. You reflect on what he's got up to after Roland-Garros with a few days in Ibiza, a bit further away from home here, but I'm sure it's going to be a pretty long and enjoyable night for Team Alcaraz, that is for sure.